Welcome back to the Horn Takes podcast. I am Sean Redfern. This is the Bullpen, the internet show all about Texas baseball. Joining me tonight, as always, I've got Marc Pena from Occupy Left Field, Zach Sim from OrangeBlood.com. Guys, we couldn't get it done last week because I couldn't get anything to work. We almost got snake bit again tonight, but I somehow figured it out. I don't know. Miracles do happen. Miracle on ice over the weekend for the hockey team. Actually, that's not that big of a miracle. They had a pretty good hockey team this year. But miracle that we got this thing to work, and we're going to talk some Texas baseball. We have not been able to do it since, man, it's been a few weeks since we've been able to talk. So I'm glad to have you guys on. How are we doing tonight?
Doing fantastic, man. Glad to be back and talking Texas baseball.
Absolutely. This was a very long offseason because we didn't have football. And so the buildup for baseball for me was pretty big. And it took a while, but we finally got it. We got some baseball last weekend. We got some baseball this most recent weekend, and the team looked pretty good. Before we get into that, if you're 2 weeks into baseball season, you should have tons of sunflower seeds. But if you do not, get on over to ChinookSeedery.com, use our promo code HORNTAKES, get 10% off your order over there. This is a Texas company. This is a college baseball company. Like, they are big time supporters of college baseball, and the seeds are the best seeds ever. So get your butt over there, grab some seeds, and get ready for this weekend. And we'll talk about this weekend later, but it's going to be a big one. Finally get to see a little step up in competition, I think, as we head down to Houston for the ball games this weekend. Let's kind of backtrack. We talked about this team. We talked about how we thought that pitching was certainly going to be a strength, but we also talked about how we thought the offense would be better. Let's start with the pitching because the pitching has been outstanding. Just general thoughts, and we'll start with you, Marc. What are your general thoughts so far? Really early in the season, but we've seen a lot of guys, and we've seen some pretty phenomenal pitching so far in 2026.
Yeah, man. I think if I had to summarize it, Sean, what comes to mind for me is literally just an embarrassment of riches from the pitching perspective, man. So many talented arms. We have veteran guys with experience. We have young guys that look like 40-year-old men that throw 98 miles an hour. I mean, we seem to have it all. So I tweeted last night after the series sweep against Michigan State that I really couldn't be happier with most of what I'm seeing right now. And I think the pitching is kind of the strongest component of what we've seen. So, man, it's been everything that I've wanted and expected, right? Seeing Ruger kind of slide into that Friday night slot and just be his normal self has been encouraging. Dylan Volantis, we talked about all of us wanting to see him slide into a starting role. And I'm not sure he could have pitched any better than he has his first two starts. So he's been dominant, as I think most people expected. And it's going to be exciting to see where they progress as the season goes on. You mentioned we're going to take a little bit of a step up in competition this weekend. So excited to see how that pitching translates to a major league park, with some better teams on the other side of the field. So really excited, especially for Friday night in that game against Coastal.
Yeah, I think that'll be a big one. I think that's probably one of the earlier. Well, I don't know. I guess up in Arlington, opening weekend, there were some pretty big matchups. But this will certainly be a top 10 matchup, which if you're a college baseball fan, you got to love that. Zach, early impressions of this 2026 team. Has there been anything for you that's maybe been a little bit surprising just through 2 weeks? And I know, obviously, there cannot be a whole lot surprising through 2 weeks because it's just 2 weeks. But anything like that going on for you, Zach?
Yeah, I think the level of defense and just how comfortable they are so far has been really nice to see, especially on the infield, right? Like, everyone wanted to see nationally what A-Rod would look like at shortstop. I think he's more than proven himself. There was even a play up the middle that I commented. I said, no disrespect to Jalen Flores from last year, but I don't think he gets to that ball. Like, he's such a dynamic athlete, A-Rod is. And then, having moved back from shortstop to third base, I think Temo has done a really good job at just locking down that corner because everyone has said, well, We had Borba there last year who did really well. Like, what does that look like now? And then speaking of Borba over at first base, no one's going to confuse him with Kimball, but he's making all the picks. He's doing all the things that you want to see out of a first baseman. And so it's hard to say, look, these are a slight. Then I think if you look at the outfield, Pack has had 2 opportunities that maybe got away from him a little early on with the wind blowing. Right field's not an easy place to play. But Robbins has more than proven himself in center field. And I think that was a question, right? Like he wanted to play center field to prove that he could make his money there. I think he's more than done that. Whether it's Larson or Gumbo out in left field, they've both looked, competent enough that they're not like some big glaring hole, like only hit the left field because it's going to fall in or something crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was my biggest takeaway. I think from a hitting standpoint, I think it's a little too early. Like I want to see 50 at bats is usually the number I like to see before you really start kind of saying, okay, these are the tendencies. This is what the guy's going to do. Here's what I'm seeing from last year to this year. But, surprising number is if you look at 7 games from last year versus 7 games from this year, Texas has walked 12 more times and struck out 24 less times. That's what you want to see, right? Like that's progress.
Yeah.
That's the Tulo effect right there. And so that's my biggest takeaway from hitting is, good days, bad days, whatever, but just the consistency is really showing up. So.
Yeah. Zach, I had a quick question for you, man. I was going back and looking through the box scores this morning of the Michigan State series. And I, for the life of me, I just can't remember if this is common or uncommon. I was shocked to see that neither team committed an error all weekend. Like, how uncommon is that in a normal college baseball series? It feels like it would be very uncommon, but again, I don't usually go back and check for errors at the end of every weekend, but I was kind of blown away that neither team had a fielding error over the weekend.
I think there's a couple of balls that potentially could have been. I'll be controversial right at the beginning so everyone can start playing away. That was not a double. That was a single and an E7. But let's move on. Let the boy have his cycle. But no, you're right. Like both teams played really solid defense. There was a couple of balls that fell in. If you look at the 5 hits that Valencia gave up, every single one of those was an infield single. I mean, it was just with the wind blowing in 20 miles an hour from the north Saturday and Sunday. It was just one of those weekends where everything was on the ground or in the air. It just hung up. And so, no errors, clean ball. That's what you like to see.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm confused on that error on that double. So help me out. So my understanding of errors for the outfielders is they have to touch the ball, and maybe that's just in the air. Maybe that because this one was on a bounce, it's left more up to the scorer's sort of perception of what happened. I do know they called it an error initially, and then they went back and rescored it. What's the actual rule on that?
Yeah, so this was quite a bit of debate over the weekend, and even during the game. Like, I obviously am opinionated about what I saw live and on replay. And I think if you slow it down on replay, what you see is he's going towards the ball. He has his hand and glove extended. You're correct. He does not touch the ball, which is typically one of the markers for, hey, this is an error and otherwise. But for me, the thing is the ball bounced 5-6 feet in front of him. He should have had the wherewithal or ability to lower his arm and snag it, but it didn't. It went underneath his arm.
Yeah, it was kind of a goofy looking play.
It was. Now, what the MLB scoring said, and there was 2 different MLB official scores, is they said that under MLB rules, this is ruled as a mental error or, a lapse in judgment of where, again, he should have put his body in position to snag it, but he did not. But he didn't touch it. Therefore, it is ruled a double. And the MLB even provided 3 or 4 clips that I saw that were similar or worse scenarios where they awarded a double or a triple or otherwise. So it is, by the rule of the book, it is a double. And MLB says it's a double. As a baseball aficionado, it is a single and an E7.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw the play, I was like, ugh. But again, I didn't know how they would rule that. I know how they rule them if it's in the air and they don't touch it. But I wasn't quite sure on one that is kind of smoked a little bit and then bounces and all that. So good to know that they kind of still have to touch it technically by MLB rules, at least, for it to be in air. So yeah, that was a huge day for Aiden Robbins. And I, like during the game when it happened, I said to myself, I go, man, if he doesn't get robbed of that on that error right there, that dude just hit for the cycle, I think, which is, phenomenal, especially this early in the season. I think, I think, somebody mentioned it when you guys were talking a minute ago. The bats, you haven't had a lot of at bats. That could go a lot of different ways. Some guys look really hot early. Some guys, it kind of takes them some time to get into it.
Yeah.
But man, Aiden Robbins, especially on Saturday, was like on fire. Like couldn't be stopped at the plate.
Well, it's
kind of crazy.
On Friday, he went 0 for 4, right, with 2 strikeouts.
Right.
And I even joked to, I don't know, I think it might have been Jeff Howe or someone else. I said, look, this dude's going to come out and just absolutely blast something tomorrow. Sure enough, even with 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, cycle. And I'm like, okay, well, there you go. He's just that kind of player.
Yeah, and then Sunday, like I don't know, I was under the impression that Friday wasn't as bad for some reason. Like, and so when he went up that first time on Sunday, I think he struck out. Maybe he didn't strike out, maybe he grounded out or something. Like, I can't remember exactly, but I was like, oh my God, he didn't get a hit. Like, what the hell's going on? What's happening right now? So yeah, definitely he is, and we talked about him a lot in our preview show, but I think and Zach, I think it was you that mentioned the defense out in center field. Like he made an absolute gem of a play out in the outfield on a ball that just kept moving away from him. What a hell of a catch. He's definitely got some wheels. And he's really rangy out there. So, we lost a guy last year in Gasparino that was especially as a freshman was probably as rangy as you can get. And just sort of, I'm taking the ball. If it's over the fence, I don't care. I think that kid snagged 6 or something like that his freshman year that should have been out, but he was really rangy out in the outfield. And I think Aiden Robbins, at least right now, looks like that type of guy that can go get the ball. Which is outstanding in a park like Dish Falk, because it's a big outfield and those guys got to be able to cover a lot of room. I think another guy out there that was pretty impressive a couple times to me was Larson. He made some plays where he's coming in on the ball, sliding, making plays. There were a couple of other times where you're like, oh God, what's he doing? Just because the ball, I think, I wonder if that's a lot of that is because we're in this spring deal where the wind is blowing and it really plays havoc on the ball. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how some of these other guys develop and how that goes further along here. We still have not seen Jonah Williams in the outfield. We finally get to see him this weekend at the plate. Hit or miss, but I think it was Saturday, really good game. It was Sunday. What do you go, like 2 for 3?
Went 1 for 3 with a walk. He had the one hit that he had was a 103 off the bat through the right side, though. That was really good for an RBI. And then he was patient at the plate and got an RBI drawing the walk with the bases loaded. So
exactly.
Yeah, the thing for me is that he continues to roll over the ball too much. He just needs to continue refining the swing. But again, that's time. He didn't play in the fall, so
yeah. A lot of that I think is.
He's like 4 months behind everyone else, right? So
yeah, and he's just out front. He's just ready to go. Little antsy probably needs to relax a little bit. Let's go back to the pitching though. We talked about what we thought the starting rotation would look like, and a guy we just didn't really mention at all when we talked about that was Ruger. And then here we go, opening weekend, he slid into the Friday night role, and man, jacking it up to 97 miles an hour was something. And I know he threw pretty hard last year, but I felt like 97 was not in his repertoire last year. And he's juicing it, 5 innings deep, 97 miles an hour, which is, that's pretty good. That's some pretty good heat right there. And he's not a really big guy, but you match that type of fastball control. And I love where he throws that thing. It's like almost a ball. It's almost a strike. The batter has to do something. And most of the time when you're pumping 97, he's swinging. And where he puts that thing is very hard for those guys to catch up with at 97 miles an hour. And then he's got the off-speed stuff. When that's dialed in, it's really tough on him too. So I thought he's looked pretty good through 2 starts so far. Harrison, if you had to pick one of the starters and say that's the one that hasn't looked good, you'd say it's Harrison, but that's just relatively. He's looked really good. Both he and Ruger have had a couple innings where they've, walked some folks and stuff like that. But other than that, and then you mentioned Dylan Volantis, Mark, his opening start was like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Yeah. He threw 10.1 pitches per inning through 7 innings. His first start of collegiate base, and that's just crazy to me. And then he backs it up with a 91 pitch 7-inning deal on Sunday, which is still really good. So yeah, man, he's. I think for me that was kind of the thing. I wondered how it would be for him to go through a lineup multiple times.
Yeah.
And he's done a really good job keeping people off balance. And one thing I think I've noticed, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong or right, Zach or Mark, he's got last year he relied on that what do you call it, a slider, like that one that just was low and dove away at the last minute, and he still throws that. It's a great strikeout pitch, but now he's got like this breaking pitch that's a little up in the zone as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And he has the changeup. The changeup's the new one. So on his first start, he threw 9 changeups, 6 of which were strikes, 5 of which were swinging, and then he gave up 1 hit on a changeup. But yeah, so Dylan's changeup is a new weapon for him. He's still working on it. It's not perfect by any means, but the fact that he can tunnel that and shape it the same way he does his cutter has been really big for him. And then he still has that nasty slider that just dives away from you at the last minute, and you're left holding a bag and wondering where your hands went. And then obviously the fastball is, he's able to mix speeds up a little bit still and makes it look really good. So
yeah, the fastball not overpowering, but
92.
Certainly good enough. And it looks like he's bouncing it a little bit outside, inside. He got somebody on Sunday, got it way in on his hands. And I thought that was a really good spot for him to be able to place that ball. If he can consistently do that, he's going to be really tough on those right-handed hitters. So yeah, you look at the starting guys and you go, man, that's really good. And then when they're bringing guys out of the bullpen, you got Sam Cozart, who we've all been joking about this dude. He's got the best beard I've ever seen. He's like 6'7", 260 pounds or something. He literally looks like he should be on Team USA going to play in the World Classic as an older dude, not like one of the younger dudes. He's one of the dudes that's been around and done this a minute. That's what he looks like. And he comes out on opening weekend, and he looks like that as a guy that's pitching off the mound. So it was really exciting to get to see him. We didn't get to see him this last weekend, Zach, and I wonder, and I don't mean to jump forward to Tuesday night, but I wonder if that's kind of some foreshadowing for Tuesday night that he may get the ball tomorrow night against UT Rio Grande Valley. What do you think about that? Are we jumping the gun on that one?
He'll get to pitch. It'll be Flores to start, I believe, but I would expect to see Cozart go at least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we saw the kid out of Arizona, and his name is escaping me right now.
Brett Crossland.
Crossland.
And it's really funny, man. Another guy that you just talk about, a dude that looks 10 years older than he is, man. We actually ran into him and his family at Love Supreme after the game yesterday. That guy looks like an offensive lineman, man,
he's huge.
Out of a baseball uniform. And I'm like, holy shit, these guys they literally look like NFL tight ends or offensive linemen, and they're freshman pitchers. So it's insane, man. That guy is a beast. And that play that he made yesterday, I actually didn't notice from left field that he got it behind his legs.
Behind the legs.
On that comebacker up the middle. That was ridiculous, man. I watched that replay last night, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. So, man, those guys are exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other freshman we got to see was Brody Walls, and I don't think he had his best stuff. I mean, he still struck out 2 in the 3 batters he faced, but he's a guy that when he figures it out, 96, 97 mile an hour fastball. He's got a nice tight slider. He's so athletic that, I mean, he's a guy that just bounces off of the mound. He's a guy that I'm really excited to see. Like, you see the elite stuff right now from Cozart and Crossland and Winter, right? Like, it's already there. With Walls, it's a kid that, like, you see the potential. And you're like, oh man, this is something to get excited about. So the entire freshman quartet is just ridiculously talented.
Zach,
Yeah, they're really, really deep.
Yeah, Zach, let me jump in real quick and ask you a question. Going back to what Sean was saying about the starting pitching. I know it's only been 2 weeks and we're still several weeks away from conference play, but if things hold and these guys kind of continue to pitch the way that they have been at this point, do you think we could go into that Ole Miss series with Volantis sticking as the Sunday starter, or do you think there are plans to bump him up to Friday and kind of be the lead guy on the weekend?
I think they're going to stick with what they got right now. And if you think about the makeup of the roster and the bullpen, right? Like, if you go into a Friday night with a guy like Ruger, who's now able to hit 97. Last year, he topped out at 94. Typically would sit in 92 as he got deeper in the game. You got a guy that's a veteran. You can run him through the lineup 4 different times without seeing the same pitches because he's got 8 or 9 different pitches at this point. Right? He's going to eat up innings. You know he is.
Yeah.
Then you go into Saturday not having used much of any of your bullpen. And you got a guy like Harrison, and I love Harrison. Like, great family, great kid. He gives you the same thing every single time.
Yeah,
We're going to get 4 to 5 innings of the exact same thing because you're going to sit there and go, nothing crazy, not jumping out. And all of a sudden you look at me and go, shit, it's 5 innings. We've got run, and he's ate up half a game for us.
Yeah.
And then you pair a guy like Grubbs with him, who's going to go eat 2 or 3 innings. Well, now you've shortened it down to essentially 6 innings that you have to fill. 2 or 3 innings on Friday, a handful of innings on Sunday. Yeah. So you roll into Sunday and you go, okay, here we're at. We're either 2-0 or 1-1 or 0-2. Are we going to salvage a game with a Volantis on the mound? Probably so. Are we going to sweep or are we going to take the series? So, like, it's such a huge thing to have on the back end that you almost don't want to move him up. Like,
that's exactly what we're
way too many problems for other lineups. And then the other thing about it is if you wanted to move him forward, you would essentially have to start planning that now because that's going to take you 2 weeks, right? Yeah. Getting him moved up 2 days. Now you're on short rest. Someone else is on longer rest. Like, it does screw with your bullpen and your practices a lot. And so if they're performing, leave them as is.
Yeah. Seems unfair to have him on Sunday. We were talking about that in left field yesterday. It's like, man, that's got to be a terrible feeling to be down 0-2 in the series and knowing that you're going against him on Sunday. Yeah. Like that.
And in his first start, he had a career high in innings and a career high in pitches. His second start, career high in innings, or ties his career high in innings, has a career high in pitches and career high in strikeouts.
Yep.
So, he's just getting stronger. And I think that's the thing that I saw that was maybe more surprising is he didn't look like he was starting to tail off at all. At 91 pitches, he was still hitting 91, 92. He was still locating his spots. Because I'll be honest, man, leading up to the season, I was worried about Volantis. He did not look very good in a couple of his pregame or pre-scrimmage starts. And I was like, uh-oh. Like, we might have to send him back to the bullpen. But he's
once the lights come on, man, he's ready to go.
Yeah, he's a gamer.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, and I think you talk about his velocity. I think there's more in there. I think Volantis is a guy that probably is going location more than just trying to burn it. You know what I mean? Like I think his arm has more than 92 miles an hour in it, and I think as he continues to get stronger and go through another year of baseball here at the University of Texas, I think he's a guy that we could see some big gains in that department. And if he gets that. If he's a guy that can go from 92 to maybe 95 or 96 or something like that, he's going to be a really, 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 really tough out. He's a guy that was, had some setbacks this summer with the health and things like that. So he missed a lot of that stuff and probably backtracked on some of the gains he made from a strength perspective and all those things. So, it just, and then we haven't even said this guy's name yet. And then Thomas Burns comes out of the dugout or out of the damn bullpen and just starts flaming 97, 98 past you. Like, I mean, watching him mow down Michigan State on Sunday was like absolutely ridiculous because they knew it was coming. He didn't do anything special. I mean, I know he's got that off-speed pitch that he'll throw a lot, early in the count and kind of get people messed up. But then he's just like, all right, here comes 98. Hit it.
And the biggest thing for me is that you have to essentially swing on fastball now because you can't hit his 90. He's got an 89, 90 mile an hour slider, and then he's got the new splitter, which is a variation of the changeup, but he can actually land for a strike this season. So you're sitting dead red, and to your point, yeah, he was on Saturday when he came in. He gave up the leadoff hit. Everyone was like, "Oh, terrible." Yeah. What did he do? Strikeout. 97, 97, 98. Like,
wasn't it 3 Ks on 10 pitches after that or something like that? It was ridiculous.
It was something. Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
I rewatched the video today, and I was just like, 83 splitter, 97 in on the hands, 97 right down the middle, and they weren't anywhere near.
Yeah.
You could just tell the hitters were just completely frustrated because, again, they knew it was coming, and like you just can't catch up to it. Now, as play gets better and we get into SEC, it'll be more interesting to see some of those. I think those will be some really fun at bats because there's definitely some guys in the SEC that are used to handling that type of velocity, and then it'll become more of a pitcher's game for him. He won't be able to just pump 97, 98 back to back to back probably to get those guys out. But as you said, Zach, he's got some other stuff now that he can locate for strikes. Again, we talked about the pitching coming in, and we were just like really impressed with what we had, really impressed with all the innings, really impressed with a lot of those young guys that we knew were probably going to come in and be able to contribute. I think it's been better than I could have possibly imagined from a pitching perspective. It's just been really good. There just has not been a lot of times where someone has struggled on the mound. Everybody that's come in, whether they were out there for one batter, two batters, or 2 or 3 innings, they're just pumping strikes, putting the ball in play or getting people out at the plate. So that's exciting to see. And I think, we've had some offensive games so far where we needed that. And so the offense hasn't quite come around. So let's kind of jump over to that side. There's been some times, but it's been really sporadic with, guys. We haven't seen a ton of like back-to-back type hitting. What we have seen so far is some guys that have gotten hot during specific games and just kind of went off. I'm still excited about that offense. I think it's going to come together more. Like you've got some guys right now that can hit the ball pretty well. It just hasn't happened for them yet. Like I don't know. Like I'm probably wrong on this, but I feel and Tenney's done some great stuff. I know he had the 2 home run game. He absolutely massacred a double over the weekend, 112 miles an hour off the bat. So he's hitting the ball hard, but I don't think we've seen the results out of him that he's totally capable of so far. He's walked like 15 times. I know I think it's 10 times he's walked
11
already this year, 11 now. So yeah. So, offensively, we haven't seen him go off. We've seen Andy Robbins obviously go off a couple times, and then also have some games where he's just almost done nothing. We've seen Pack show some like light where you just go, man, like that opposite field hit he had on, I think it was Sunday. Nice piece of hitting from a freshman. So there's guys up and down that lineup, I feel like. And he had the big home run. So there's guys up and down that lineup that man, if they all sort of just kind of get consistent together, it's going to be a pretty tough lineup 1 through 9 to get through. What are your thoughts, Mark, early on the season about this offense? Do you think? I mean, because right now, to me, and I'll just be honest, to me, it kind of looks a lot like last year. where we just went in these spurts and we'd score like 3 or 4 runs, and we didn't score a lot early in games. You know, the runs would come as we would get into the bullpen. And I know it's only 2 weeks, but that's a lot what it looks like right now. I feel like there's more potential to be better than that. What do you think, Mark?
I definitely agree, and I think I'm gonna withhold my judgment till after Houston this weekend. I will say, man, you know the dish. There's some weekends there where
Sure.
the wind just kind of takes offense out of games, man, and
Yep.
that's what it was Saturday and Sunday. Literally was 30-mile-an-hour winds coming in from left field, which made any type of offense pretty challenging. So, you know, I'm anxious to see them hit in Houston. Typically, when you see a good Texas team go into one of those early season tournaments in Arlington or Houston, you'll see some pop off the bat, and they'll be hitting some home runs and scoring some runs. So I'm hoping we'll see that type of production over the weekend. But going back to Zach's stats, man, I think one thing that really stands out to me is the noticeable drop in strikeouts. That's encouraging to me. That's something that I talked about our last show is that's really what I'm going to be looking for the first month of the season, right? I don't want to be seeing games against Coastal Carolina on Friday where we have 13 strikeouts, right? If I see something like that, that's going to concern me a little bit. So, you know, I'm looking for them to really kind of work themselves into a groove. And I do think, man, guys like Tenney, guys like Borba, they're going to heat up. Tenney hit a rocket yesterday, right? That's probably over the fence if that wind's not blowing in from left field. And then Borba in the Davis series, man, he missed 2 home runs that were foul and left field by a matter of feet. One of them would have been a grand slam, I think. So, you know, those 2 balls stay fair. You know, we're talking about how he's already got 3 home runs and double-digit RBI and is looking good. So I'm not worried, man. I'm confident in this offense. I think they're going to start to put it together. And yeah, again, just really excited to see them in that step up and you know, competition in Houston.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the other interesting things is we haven't seen a lot of different lineups. Like I mean, and again, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like Sloss came in this year and he's got his pieces, right? He's got his guys that are going to hit certain days and all that, but like the order seems to stay pretty much the same. I felt like even well into SEC play last year, you know, he was still trying to find that right balance and that right mix to help some guys get hot and protect some guys and all those things. And it seems really like this year he knows what he's got, and like you said, it's just a matter of time before all that sort of gets hot and guys start consistently doing what they're capable of. On that note, Zach, do you think we might see any kind of lineup changes here in the near future? Because one thing we talked about last year is, you know, you've got these first few weeks to really find out what you've got, and you do want to play with it maybe a little bit. But as you start to get a couple weeks out from SEC play, you want to have already figured all that out, and you want to be like, these are my guys. Do you think Sloss has his guys already? And maybe not just that, but I think he's got his guys. But do you think we'll see any sort of maneuvering with people in the lineup and things like that to kind of maybe spark some folks? What do you think that looks like, Zach?
Not really. I mean, you're going to have the same 4 guys at the top, right? It's going to be Mendoza, it's going to be Rodriguez, and then it's going to be Robbins and Tenney. Those are the guys you want to have the most at bats, and they're the guys that are going to get the most at bats. And then after that, if you look to see what he's been doing, it's been left, right, left, right, left, right. Right? Like he is putting together a balanced offense. So he's putting your most talented 4 to get the most at bats at the top, and then everything else is just balance out. But again, Josh Livingston only 10 at bats. Jonah Williams only 10 at bats. Even a guy like Larson, because he typically gets pulled for defensive purposes late in the game, he only has 15 at bats. And so, you know, you look at the offense. Again, Mark pointed out, like, the strikeouts are down. They have 44 walks and 40 strikeouts on the season. Last season at this time, they had 20 more strikeouts than they did walks, or 24.
I'm actually surprised. So just 20. So how many strikeouts did we have this point last year compared to this year? Because I feel like that number was massive.
We had like 30 the first weekend, right? And
Exactly. No, it was more than that. I thought it was 35 or something. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was
It was
bad.
crazy that we won 2 of those games and just barely lost the other one. If you look at just the strikeouts last
I mean,
year.
against
So,
Oklahoma State last season, which was the game 3 in Arlington, they walked 13 times and struck out 11. That's
yeah, just insane. Yeah.
But if you think about like where the pieces are, right? Like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are all still hitting over 1,100 in OPS. So Ethan, Pack, Robbins, and Tinney. If anything, the only 2 people that have had a slow start are Borba and Rodriguez. And Rodriguez has splayed the ball all over the place. They just happen to be at people. Like
Yeah.
the law of averages, his numbers are going to shoot through the roof. And then you look at from a number standpoint, the only 2 regular starters that are under 300 are Temo and Borba. And Temo's just barely under there. So I actually don't think the offense is as bad as kind of people are looking at it. I think the weather had a lot to do. You know, I was joking with Tinney after the game on Sunday. I said, "Do you think you had that home run?" He's like, "The ball went over the field and came or over the wall and came back."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they play at Daikin down in Houston. Indoors, no weather effect. Marc's right. Like in the past, we've typically seen a couple of guys just go yard that you're like, oh, okay, you can get the shit out of that thing.
Yeah.
And so the one guy I think Texas really needs to be more consistent is probably Borba. The X factor for me is probably Larson. He kind of sits in that critical juncture there of how do you start flipping that lineup over. And I really like what Sloss has done, having Temo, his experience and his consistency, and Pack at the bottom. Pack is kind of protected by Temo and Ethan Mendoza, and so they're the way they're able to get through that lineup has been really good. So
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see much lineup change. I think he's going to try to stay as balanced as possible. And last year, man, there was a lot of hero ball. It was
Yeah.
you got to have Galvan hit a home run. We have to have a home run from Flores. We have to have a single from Kimball and then a home run or a Baloo home run. Like that's not this team. This team is going to be more about OPS and extra base hits, not necessarily pure power. So,
yeah. Zach, were you a little bit surprised to not see Tinney get a day off, at all last week and catching all 4 games? Do you think that's going to be the norm, or do you see a guy like Armis coming in and maybe getting some innings on a Tuesday or something like that?
I would be very surprised if Armis wasn't getting his time tomorrow night on Tuesday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think weekend 1, they gave him that Saturday off because it's the first weekend. They don't want to push too hard. Weekend 2, as you start to, you're going to see the big games. He's going to play, right?
Yeah.
It's like Galvan. But whereas Galvan didn't really have a backup last year on Tuesdays, I think you'll see a guy like Armis and even Corville get some time on the midweeks for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no doubt that
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the one thing you might look out for is Tinney might very well be at first base if he's not doing DH on his days off as well. He's actually pretty dang solid at first base. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys can play a lot of different places, and you love to see that. It makes the Sloss's job that much easier on gives him more pieces to play with and things like that. This was a comment we got from I don't know, Dan Klein, Daryl Klein. Sure glad CDC and Schloss are great friends. Difference between Schloss and Pierce. I agree. I never was like a not Pierce guy. He put some good teams together, took some teams to own. I mean, one of those teams a couple plays away from winning a College World Series. So yeah, I mean, I think he had some good teams at Texas. But yeah, it's hard to argue relatively between him and Schloss right now in terms of the talent that they've brought in so far, to be on this 2026 team, and especially on that pitching staff. And man, like if you're Max Wiener, you just got to be like loving life right now. I thought it was really cool to see Max go out to visit Dylan on Sunday and kind of had them all doing some yoga on the pitcher's mound. They're all doing like deep breaths together. And you could tell the second he walked out there, they all cracked up. He just gets it, man. He he knows how to pull the right levers for those guys. And it's going to be really fun to see this pitching staff continue. I mean, we're 2 weekends in and we're already talking about just, whoa, it's just going to get better. I think as some of these younger guys get some innings behind them and all that stuff. So yeah, I think I wouldn't want to have to hit against this team. I'll just say that. And we'll see if that offense can kind of pick it up. You mentioned the Tuesday night, UT Rio Grande Valley tomorrow night. I got to be 100% honest. I did not have time today to even look and see what their record was. So, Zach, Mark, talk to us about UT Rio Grande Valley. I expect us to win because I think we're just that kind of team that should go out and win baseball games. We've talked about the talent. We've talked about all these things. Go win baseball games, dude. It doesn't get much more talented than 2026 Texas baseball, I don't think. So, not to say they cannot be beat. We've seen it a million times, but it's a game I expect the team to go out, be there for, be ready to play, and get a W. Talk to us. I'll start with you, Zach. UT Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team. They're 3-4, but their record belays how good they've played. They went 1-2 against Kansas at home. They played Texas Tech where they lost, and then they actually went down to Houston and won 2 of the 3 games there. So I actually got to see both of their games against Houston towards the end after UT played. This is a team that can play. I mean, they've got some guys. It's a super veteran team. They're what's his name? Armani Raygoza. He's a fun player to watch. He's probably going to win Conference Player of the Year. I think what's going to hurt them is I think it's very similar to Lamar last week, where they got a solid team. They're just not going to have the horses from the pitching standpoint to go 9 innings against Texas. Texas can roll out too many arms. But that said, I mean they've got a really good team. I mean this is likely a NCAA tournament type caliber team as a 4 seed. So Texas is not going to be able to just overlook them. From an offensive standpoint, they've got multiple guys that can slug. They got a lot of veteran presence, and so if Flores or Kozar gets to start, whichever one, I'm assuming it's going to be Flores. Right? He's going to have to be sharp. He can't just go out there and have a good inning and then have a bad inning. It's going to be necessity to give the offense time to get going.
Zach, it seems like it's going to be a pretty important start for Flores, right? I kind of feel like with the depth and the talent on this staff, right? You gotta make your mark early, and you don't want to have back-to-back shaky performances, right? You want to be able to carve out that role on the team. So I'm excited for him to get another opportunity, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing to watch for me tomorrow night. I think Sean, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say he's got all the talent, man. He's got some special stuff, especially that sinker that he has, and then he can mix in that slider. Early in the season, it's so tough. Like you're either going to be lights out or you're not. There's usually no in between. And again, Lamar has got a veteran presence. Like they came in with a plan ready to hit, and they executed it.
Yeah.
So I am excited to see Flores. I hope he does get the start because I think he's going to be a really important piece down the road throughout the rest of the season as well.
Agreed.
Mark, any thoughts on the game tomorrow night that we have not covered so far?
Absolutely. I'm going to hit you with my hard-hitting insight here. I think the only thing I care about UTRGV is I hear that Rylan Galvan's brother plays left field for them.
Yeah.
And when he played in left field last year, we were having a good time with him out there at the tailgate. We were trying to get him to put his horns up, do some spin moves, and he wouldn't acknowledge us. So if he's in left field tomorrow, I think we might be a little bit loud and see if we can get in his head a little bit. But he's a good guy. Looking forward to seeing him. And, again, going back to my point about Flores, excited to see him on the mound and really hoping that he has a solid start and kind of gets back on track as we're, continue to go through the out-of-conference portion of the schedule.
Yeah, you may not get to see Renee. He's only started 1 game for him so far. So
really, well, he played in left field for at least 2 at-bats every game this past weekend. So even if we get him for a little bit, that'll be good enough. We'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny story. I was out in left field one day when they were playing, and
you thought he was Rylan?
Yeah,
That's happened to everybody, man.
So
That
it
happened
was
to me
hilarious.
one day.
He was just sitting there being real quiet, like those dudes do, right? He was just sitting there at the end of the bench, and I looked up. I look around a lot, even when I'm talking to somebody in front of me. I'm kind of looking around just to see what's going on. I glanced over one time, and I was like, "What the hell is Ryland doing sitting out here on the freaking bench?" And I honestly had no idea he had a twin brother.
Yeah.
That's how crazy that whole thing. I just didn't even know. And then his mom was like, "Oh yeah, meet him," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, heck yeah, I want to meet him." But it was funny. It was kind of a weird moment for me where I thought I was in Bizarro world for a little bit. But yeah, I think for Flores, those other guys are kind of nipping at heels, and you guys kind of alluded to that. If he goes out and maybe struggles a little bit like he did in his first start, I don't know how much longer you can keep a guy like Crossland or keep a guy like Cozart out of something like that when they just continue to go out and pitch as well as they've been pitching. The crazy thing about Flores to me is, man, it's like one inning. It's like that 12U baseball team that like everything goes great for 3 innings and then the wheels just completely come off and they can't even throw it to first base anymore. Like they can't do anything right. That's what it almost feels like sometimes with Flores. And I agree 100% with both of you guys. The stuff is amazing. When it's dialed in, man, it is tough. But and I got to think that's mental. Like I got to think he gets into this zone and then something just isn't right. And it's usually like the 3rd, 4th inning where it just kind of breaks down on him. So yeah, I would like to see him just come out balls to the wall, just be Jason Flores and just throw the ball and stay locked in mentally, because I think that's all it's got to be is a mental piece that just isn't quite clicking the way it was before during that same game. So we'll see. We'll see whether he gets the ball, whether Cozart gets the ball. I was kind of sitting there, and I didn't even notice it during the weekend series, but it dawned on me sometime last night. Cozart didn't pitch, and I had to go back and look to make sure I was right. But yeah, Cozart did not pitch over the weekend, so I was like, interesting. So yeah, either way, that's 2 tough arms. Whether regardless of what order they're in. Those are going to be 2 tough arms for UT Rio Grande Valley. And going back to these smaller Texas teams, and I don't mean to belittle them calling them smaller, just smaller school Texas teams. The state of Texas is absolutely completely flooded with good baseball players. So you cannot take any of those teams for granted because they're all good ball players. And the one thing they are always going to have when they're playing a team like Texas, playing a team like Texas A&M, is an absolute massive chip on their shoulder because they didn't get recruited by Texas, or they didn't get recruited by Texas A&M. So yeah, it won't be show up and win tomorrow night. Texas is going to have to show up, be there, be mentally prepared, go out and be ready to play a good baseball game, or they can mess around and get beat by that UT Rio Grande Valley bunch. I'm going to say, my prediction is this bunch shows up. We get the bat swinging a little bit, and I think they're gonna. I think it'll be one of those deals where they kind of bury them late.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mark? What do you got on the prediction for tomorrow night?
I just want to see some more consistent hitting, right? See the offense kind of get in a flow, start scoring some more runs is what I'm looking for. And again, I already mentioned 2 or 3 times, I want to see Flores do well, but I also want to see some of those other arms get in the game and get some work leading into the weekend. So those are kind of the 2 things that I'm looking for. And I'd love to have a game where Schlossnagle has the opportunity to get additional guys in the game from an offensive perspective as well, right? You saw Lamar last week. You had Mansour that was able to come in and get a big hit late in that game.
Yeah.
I want to see a guy like Livingston get back in the lineup. He didn't play over the weekend after starting all 3 games against UC Davis. So I'd love to see him get a shot again. So, yeah, man, it'll be a fun night out there. The weather's supposed to be nice. So looking forward to that game for sure.
Yeah, Livingston's another guy that it seemed like in that UC Davis series, he missed like a couple of bombs, just foul. Like between him and Borba, they smoked the ball a few times. It just couldn't keep him between the poles. So yeah, I'd love to see him get some run and get a chance to get some bats under his belt. Zach, what do you think we see tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think Texas. The difference is going to, like I said, the pitching talent and depth. I don't think that this isn't 2024 where UTRGV came into Austin and beat Texas. And that's the game that if everyone remembers.
I forgot
Jared
about
Thomas
that.
Started.
Yeah.
Luke Harrison pitched for an inning. Charlie Hurley, Chase Loomis, Eason Tumis, Hudson Hamilton, Cody Howard. Like, they literally threw the sink at them that night. Just like, we don't want to burn any arms. Like, it was so late in the season that they had to have time for their other guys to get rest. And so, I just don't see that type of game from Texas. I also don't see UTRGV having the type of pitcher that they had that night that went 5 innings and struck out 7. Like, I think it's better offense. And so I think Texas wins. I don't think they necessarily leave it late. It might be a battle for the first 2 or so innings, but I think Texas will be able to get on board in the first 3 innings and then, kind of just block build, right? Like, you'll see a crooked number, and if they throw up a crooked number and then you throw a 0 behind it, Texas is really hard to beat after that. So.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with that. All right, let's move on to this weekend. I think for Texas fans, this is kind of the early season. Well, I guess Michigan State was kind of one that we didn't know could have been one that might have got a little interesting just because of what they did opening weekend in Louisville. And by the way, I think that Michigan State team is actually they're a pretty nice little team. I mean, they got some holes, but I was kind of impressed. I thought defensively they were pretty good. They got some guys that can swing the bat and hit the ball hard. It'll be interesting to see what that bunch can do in Big Ten play as the season goes on. We wish them the best of luck, obviously. But this weekend, and especially that game Friday night, again, and what are they? Coastal Carolina? What are they? The Chanticleers? Chanticleers? The Chants? Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Top 10 matchup. They've got a pretty good horse that they could run out that I guess missed a start last weekend. And it's kind of up in the air. I think all of college baseball wants to see those types of matchups, especially early. Man, what do we think about this weekend? I mean, I look at who they're playing. They've got the Chants, they've got Ohio State, which I don't know. I'm always kind of about the Big Ten teams, especially early, just because, man, they haven't had a chance to really practice that much. It's still like snowing and all this crazy crap up there. They don't get to play outside that much for another few weeks, generally speaking. And then Baylor. And Baylor is not doing it for me this year. I know the kid hit 48 grand slams in the first game or whatever it was, but outside of that, I don't think Baylor's been that impressive. So to me, just again, looking at the weekend, that Friday night game is to me is the one that's super important and is a really big opportunity for this Texas team to kind of put their stamp on 2026 early. Thoughts, Mark? You're going to be down there. You guys are where? Tell everybody where you guys are going to be, and then you can talk to us about the baseball game.
Awesome. Yeah, we've found a nice little spot there that we've gone the last few times we're in Houston, a bar called Cobos, that's just right across the highway from Dyken Park. It's probably a 1/4-mile walk, really easy to get to. Great manager there at the bar that hooks all the Texas fans up with some pretty good drink specials. So I think he said he's going to have $20 buckets of beer, $3 shots, some good looking promos going on. So we'll definitely be there Friday and Saturday before the night game. So we'll encourage everybody to come out there and hoping we get another big Texas crowd there before the Friday and Saturday game specifically. But going back to the weekend, man, I haven't been able to find any information today on Fluky, the Coastal Ace. I'm guessing it's probably unlikely that he pitches this weekend, but I'm really wanting to see it, man. He's, arguably one of the best pitchers in the country. And I want to see what Texas can do against an arm like that, right? So, going to be kind of a bummer if we miss him. You guys also saw that Coastal lost one of their best relievers as well last week. So they're down probably their two best pitchers at this point. So it'll be interesting to see what they look like if they're without Fluky again this weekend. Tried to keep up with them a little bit this past weekend. They won 2 out of 3. But they got beat down pretty bad by what I would guess is a pretty average Illinois team. I think I saw Illinois had one guy who had 3 doubles and a grand slam in a 14-5 win over Coastal Carolina over the weekend. So still early. Coastal got to that national championship series last year. I don't think they're quite on that level without their best pitchers. But again, hoping we'll see Fluky. And then in terms of Baylor and Ohio State, I'm wanting to see Texas handle those teams easily. Baylor's, looks like they've got some decent pitching. But again, you're 2 weeks away from SEC play, and Baylor and Ohio State are not SEC quality teams, in my opinion. So I'm wanting to see Texas handle their business in Houston. And I'm hoping that you see the pitching just kind of continue to eat through lineups and show the dominance that we've seen through the first 7 games.
Zach, thoughts?
Yeah, Coastal will be interesting. Fluky's probably got the best, if not the second best fastball in the nation. He's got a sprained muscle in his rib. And so, that's tough to try to battle through, because even if you're playing, are you 100%? Are you able to fully let go? I'm going to guess that he pitches. I've asked a couple of folks. It's still up in the air. But if he doesn't go, their guy is Norman, I think, is probably be the pitcher. He's a good pitcher. He got hit up a little bit by Illinois. Weather was a little bit of a deal out there, so weren't perfect conditions. I just don't think Coastal is healthy right now, right? Like, they're not just missing Fluky from this last weekend. They also lost their best bullpen guy. And then they're also missing one of their other, what would have been the rotation guys, Hayden Johnson. He's a couple weeks out. And so they're just kind of beat up. It'll be interesting to see, just how they play. Then when it comes to Baylor's got a really good Friday night guy. I think Baylor's probably played better than their record suggests. They went toe-to-toe with Oregon State, and Dax Whitney carved them up for 17 strikeouts in that game, and they still only lost 1-3. But again, Ethan Calder kept him right in the game, and he's a solid guy. Now, Texas is not likely to see him. They're probably going to see Hansen. But from a depth, a talent, you would expect Texas would handle Baylor. And then Ohio State just isn't a very good team. They're picked last in the Big Ten. Their pitching was an issue last year. They've not played solid baseball. I'm trying to remember. One of the teams has committed an ungodly number of errors. It might have been Coastal, actually. I think they've committed 12 errors already this season.
Oh, wow.
So from a expectation standpoint, you would expect Texas to go in there and take all 3 games. Now, 2024, when Texas was there last, they played a close game against number 3 LSU and lost 3-6. Turned right back around and lost a boat race with Texas State the next night. Yeah, and got beat up by Vanderbilt. So those
that was the weekend.
It's grass and it's dirt. Like, things take different hops and bounces. It takes a little getting used to. So, I don't think they can take for granted that we're rolling in, but hitting's going to have to really show up this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think as the stakes get higher, the bats, they got to heat up a little bit. Like, it's baseball. You're going to have your hot times and your down times, but just in general, I think we just got to start seeing some of those balls fall. And we've mentioned it. You guys have mentioned it. The guys have hit the ball. Like, they've put bats on balls for the most part, and some of them just haven't fallen, and those will start to happen. Just law of averages. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw out I think Texas wins all 3 this weekend. It looks like Marc says he thinks they win all 3. You calling all 3, Zach? Or are you going to do us like you did us last year? And
For the record, I have only missed 2 picks out of the first
That's
2
fair.
weekends so far.
That's
I went
fair.
a
That's
perfect
fair.
8-0. Yeah, I just think with Coastal right now, especially if Fluky does not pitch on Friday, I really like Texas chances. I think that they're going to be able to overpower him. Just there's only so many arms that Coastal can roll out there, and they've got some other good arms like Horn and a couple others out of the bullpen. But I think Texas can take that game, and if they take that game, yeah, they probably sweep the entire weekend.
All right, we're saying sweep on the from the bullpen. I got to throw this up here. I don't know. This is a Michigan Wolverine fan that says his friend Steven Castaneda is a huge Texas fan. He's suffering from memory loss from getting dug out last year at a game. I don't know what that means. I don't know if this is like a joke and I'm missing the inside joke. If it's not, hook him, Steven Castaneda, and man, we hope you get better. I don't know. Does anybody know that name?
I'm just focusing on the getting dug out last year at a game. I'm kind of wondering if you're getting trolled.
Like I want to know.
I don't know. Yeah,
maybe give us some more context on that. Yeah. But I mean, it could be like he got hit in the head. I don't know. Like I'm just taking context from. Anyway, I don't want anybody to have memory loss. That sucks, man. So yeah, shout out to Steven Castaneda, Longhorn, big time Longhorn fan apparently that knows Michigan people that watch our show. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, so I'm excited for the weekend. I wish I could be down there, but I can't compete with rich cheerleader parents and $600 a night freaking hotel rooms and all that stuff. So. Man, I'm still shooting for Ole Miss will be our first series. We are going to go to Vanderbilt and then Mississippi State and I believe Oklahoma are 2 we've got pinpointed to be down in Austin at the Dish. So we're excited about that. That's the only part that sucks about baseball season being here is I still got to wait because it's a little long drive to come down there and freeze my ass off in the wind and all that stuff. So, but we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys. Any last words before we shut it down for tonight and head into what time is the game tomorrow night? Is it another really early start? 5 o'clock?
6:30.
Okay, 6:30 tomorrow night at the Dish. Yep. Get out there and support the boys. Man, there's probably tons of tickets floating around from people that will not be able to make it. You can probably get in there. And I know Coach Schloss is always giving away tickets that people give back. So check out Twitter. Check out all the socials tomorrow. You can probably find some tickets. If you really want to go, somebody's got some tickets for you. I guarantee it. But get out there, support the boys. It'll be a good time. They'll get on UT Rio Grande and make us what? 8-0? 8-0 on the season, man. Shoot, that's good stuff.
Let's keep stacking them.
Keep stacking dubs. What is it? You can't go 54. Are we playing 54 regular season games this year?
I think that's what I counted. That's what we're going to stick with because I'm already 7 games through using that number. So
so you can't change your saying now. You can't go 54-0 unless you go 8-0 tomorrow night. Texas Longhorns. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the comments tonight. We'll try to do better, man. Man, it's been busy, and then my equipment doesn't work. I don't know what to do. I'm distraught that I'm having to fight this much to make my damn show go. But anyway, thanks for watching. You guys have a good one. We'll see y'all out at the Dish sometime. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.